Right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about Big Derek Lewis, the man himself. This guy here is phenomenal. I love Derek Lewis. Every time Derek Lewis fights, I tune in to watch this guy because you don't know what you're going to get. You could have a good performance, you could have a bad performance, but even in his bad performance, there's going to be some wild things happening in that fight. I can't help thinking, though, just on a side note before we start this here, I can't help thinking, though, that people like Derek Lewis are looking at people like Francis Ngannou and thinking to themselves, why did I sign an eight-fight contract with the UFC when there's guys like Francis Ngannou that's willing to risk it all, leave the UFC, and become multi-millionaires by fighting arguably the greatest heavyweight boxers of our generation, and probably will go on to fight other great heavyweight boxers for even more money. And I think about this because a lot of these guys just want security. They just want to be in that contract. They just want contenders to face, and they just want, the UFC is very comforting for them because there's the UFC gym. There's least things for them to worry about being involved with the UFC. When you're out by yourself and you're out of contract and you're looking for a fight, it takes a very special human like Francis Ngannou to go out there and be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And that's the way I sort of want to take this. Derek Lewis, even though he's a machine, even though that he's a knockout artist, he wants to be comfortable and he wants to be in that contract. He seems to be that type of a guy. Now, he's got a fight on the weekend with Almeida, UFC fight night. And I'll be watching, and I can't wait for it. But I do believe I think it's Derek's, out of 5 fights, he's got 1 win. I think we're going to get into it now. I don't want to speak too much because I read about him last night and I forget half the bloody information. That's what I'm like. So we'll get into that just in a little minute. But Almeida is going in here with wins under his belt. TKOs and rear naked chokes. Something that if I was Derek Lewis, I would be thinking to myself, well, Almeida's got the confidence. He can choke people out in that division, at the heavier divisions. And he's got the ability of knockout power, or TKOs at least. So how do I win this fight? Well, I'm going to have to go out here and I'm going to have to put it on him straight away. And that's what you're going to see from Derek Lewis. If he doesn't do that and he doesn't sort of rush Almeida, then as the fight goes on, it's going to go in more Almeida's favor, in my opinion. You never know. We could go out here. This is MMA. The MMA gods are just crazy when it comes to how people win, even in the heavier divisions. So I think that that's going to be his game plan. Knock him out early. Don't let him get a foot in the game. Because if you do that, and as the time goes on, and I wilt, he can rely on his jiu-jitsu, take my neck and choke me out. But then he has to be careful because Almeida has the capabilities to counter that with the skills that he has and maybe win by knockout himself or TKO. Probably more than likely TKO. Derek Lewis needs the knockout here. And he needs to stay relevant. Because if he doesn't stay relevant in this game, and he is irrelevant, he's I'm not saying that he's not relevant, but he needs to stay relevant within the populace of the people watching MMA. He needs that knockout win to say, look, this is me. This is who I am. Yeah, sure, every time I've fought for a belt, it hasn't came up. I've always came up short, but I'm always going to be here. I've got the capabilities like Michael Bisping, and we're going to get into this now just in a little minute, to take punishment and take losses and come back and win a belt, regardless if that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 times. I will always be there. That's what we want to see from Derek Lewis. Now, in regards to Michael Bisping, is Derek Lewis willing to be a gatekeeper in MMA? I wouldn't be willing to do that. I want to be headlining big events. I would want to be showing the populace of the UFC fans traction of this is where I'm going to go, because that's what we always need. We need to see a line, a path of where we think this fighter is going to go, hence why we get invested in them. We were always very invested in Derek Lewis, but that's fell off a little bit. But is this the fight that's going to show us that this is where I'm going to go? I'm not willing to be a gatekeeper. Or is he willing, and I do believe this could be his mindset, to take big contracts with the UFC like he just recently has, and be willing to take losses knowing he's in that contract, knowing that he's going to get a certain amount of money, just to be a gatekeeper for the UFC, because he's a company man, he's in that contract, and it doesn't matter. And whenever his recent contract's up, that's whenever we'll worry about where we're going to go. At the age he's at now, he needs to be thinking about not long-term contracts, but how much money can I make? And I can't help referencing Francis Ngannou, because Francis Ngannou would have went through similar things, even though that he was the champion. He says to himself, look, I need to make money here, man. Life is too short, and I need to make money now. I don't think Derek Lewis has the same mindset. I don't think he does. Let's look at both guys' records. Let's go and look at Almeida's record here first, and then we'll jump on to Derek Lewis. So here we are, guys. As you can see at the top there, Almeida will be fighting Derek Lewis this weekend, November 4th, 2023, at UFC Fight Night, Almeida versus Lewis. So you can see his record here, right? From 2021 right up until now, this guy hasn't lost a fight. Now, is there big jumps? Yeah, well, he had in 2022, he had 3 fights. In 23, this is going to, once he fights Derek Lewis, that will be a second fight. But this guy is going in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins under his belt, and that's momentum, and that's key momentum going into this. And you'll see how he won his last fights: rear naked choke, TKOs, rear naked choke, TKO, rear naked choke. So this guy has the ability in the heavyweight divisions to TKO and submit, and that's dangerous for Derek Lewis, 100%. This guy's going in here expecting to win this fight, and that is very dangerous for Derek Lewis. Now, here we are at Derek Lewis's fight record. So he's fighting Almeida after a win, TKO punches, right? Now, that's good. That's good. He's going in with a little bit of confidence himself. He knows what he's going to do. But this guy, you know, has got lots of losses under his belt. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 4 fights. He's got 1 win. Out of the 4 fights, he's got 1 winner. You can say out of 5 fights, he's got 2 wins, right? He's got 2 wins there. But as you can see, it's not a good sort of looking path. So you would say that going by his fight record, that this guy is up and down. So going into this fight with a guy who's got so much confidence under his belt because of all his wins and the skill and technical ability that Almeida has, you would say that Almeida is the front runner to win this fight. That's the way I would see this. And if you're looking at how Derek Lewis has lost fights, submission, not good. Definitely not good, because this guy, Almeida, is able to submit you. TKO punches, not good, because that is what Derek Lewis is known for, is winning by TKO or knockout. KO before that, KO before that. So this TKO out of... So, sorry. He won TKO there. He won... scrap that. So out of the 3 losses that he had, he lost by 2 TKOs and he lost by submission. And then he won in his last fight a TKO. But Almeida's coming in here with submissions and TKOs. So it would only lead me to believe, if my math is correct, and MMA math definitely isn't correct. And especially in the heavier divisions, the heavyweight division, anything can happen. One punch can equalize any. A person could be going in with 10 fight win streak, 20 fight win streak in the heavyweight division, and boom, one shot, one glancing shot just takes you out of the game. But as it stands, going by the math that I've seen, Derek Lewis is on a trajectory to lose this fight. But hopefully not, because I like him. Right, guys, so my official prediction for the Derek Lewis fight, I think he's going to lose. I think Derek Lewis is going to lose. And I hope I eat my words, because I like the guy and I want him to be successful in MMA. I want him to be fighting for the belt again, because I think he's brilliant. I love him. I love Derek Lewis. But I can't help but feel that he's not going to win. I can't help but feel that he's willing to be the gatekeeper of MMA in the hopes that he gets a second wind in his career and goes on a 5-fight win streak to get a chance at fighting for the belt. So, yeah, let me know your opinions in the comment section. I want to know your predictions on the fight this weekend. If you haven't already, share to a friend or on social media. And if you want to go follow me on social media, all my social media links can be found in the comment section and description. And make sure you hit the likes. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. But that's it, guys. That's my official prediction for the weekend. Lewis versus Almeida. I would say Almeida is going to win this one, but I have to state this. This is the heavyweight division. And in the heavyweight division, anything can happen. You could be a guy that's on a 20-fight win streak. You are unstoppable. And then somebody just touches you on the jaw because they've got that much power, and it's night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, and you have just lost. So anything can happen. I'm not stupid. I do know about the heavyweight division, but as it stands, going by the math that I've seen and going by both guys' records, Derek Lewis is up and down. He's got a lot of fights in the UFC. He's got a lot of fights in MMA. But as it stands, I think Almeida's going to win. Just my feeling on the fight. That's it, guys. Peace out.